I'm glad you're here. My name is Piotr Kowalczyk. Today, we are introducing a brand new chapter in our music study. Brand new playlist called Horn Section. If you are curious about how to write the horn section in your music, that's the playlist for you. Today we are introducing the basics of that idea, starting with the unison. Let's get started. Spending time with one specific instrument is extremely powerful. You learn about it. You discover things about the articulation, dynamics, and what's possible. You recognize those muddy aspects of the sound and also the bright ones. You start developing the idea what the instrument is about and how to use it with your own music. It's a very powerful tool and we really recommend it. Since there is no end of your growth, what's the point of rushing? Spend time with that instrument. Horn section delivers extra excitement to your music. You could see it as a sparks, as an additional layer of interesting developments. In other words, I can bring these instruments to express additional voicings on the main phrases, melody line, and also motifs. Horn section, it's based on voicings. They create new sentences in music. Each sentence is emerged in chords progression. Chords progression is the foundation to horns voicings. They follow a specific guidance. One of the guidance are the harmony movement, which means any movement we present, it has to be tied, related to each other. Function of each chord will constantly change. Function will have an impact on what scale you use. Each scale includes chord tones and passing tones. In other words, chords will have their function. Function of each chord will change constantly. By being aware of the function of each chord, now we can develop the sense of the scale. The scale includes not only chord tones but also passing tones. And now once we know them, guess what? We can direct our melody line towards specific direction. Chord tones will stay as written, while passing tones could change, depends on the functionality. We recognize them, apply them, and use them with knowledge. Our goal is to capture the meaning of the chord in that specific moment and then embracing it by using a correct scale. Everything is connected. Triads become 7 chords and tensions. They all relate to each other and share specific intervals. You recognize them and apply them with ease. They help you to design the sense of future scales, the placement, and the function. When you are ready, you will know the clear pathway is waiting for us. Let me know when you are ready. When you are serious about writing a great horn section, we really recommend that you visit our website, royalcomposer.com. On that website, you can find something called Chord World. This beautiful course includes 3 major chapters of chord learning. One of them is Triads. another one 7 chords, which means you progress upon that awareness, and also tensions. You've got word books. It's really cool and kind of guide you through the process. So let's just quickly introduce the idea of triads. The triads are built from 3 notes. Our triads use inversions. Another one. When you know the inversions, you can manipulate that sound. Once you know the triads well, you move to the 7 chords. The 7 chords introduce additional note. So now you're dealing with 4 different notes: root, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, and of course we can decorate those 7 chords with additional tensions, they bring additional excitement. So this is what that knowledge do to us. We get familiar with our instrument and also chords and chords progression. We develop that idea of how to use the chords, and from this point we've got all the freedom you desire. In our contact library, we've got this horn section which includes 4 different horns. So now, I'm gonna come up with some kind of unison. So they are all playing the same note. Okay, so our goal is to come up with great phrases based on that chord's progression. So depending what kind of music you're about to create, you're going to kind of put that instrument into that flavor of that music. puta, puta, puta. Puta, ta, ta. Ta, puta. Ta, putin. Okay? So the idea is to kind of put yourself in the shoes of that instrument and musician who plays it. Okay? Alright, so now, since we are dealing with chords progression, our goal is to match that melody into the chord. So if I play C major 7 with sharp 11th, right? F7, for example. So depending what kind of chords progression. When I fool around with the sound of horns for chords, I already experience a possible voicings what I could use. Like for example, if I go from F minor 7 to B flat 7, so now I don't know how I'm gonna treat mine. When it comes to big band and jazz, I could treat those horns as instruments what provide a chords progression. Okay, so I could treat them that way, or come up with some melody line. Or we can put them together. So I start seeing, like patterns and voicings, right? So this allows me to come up with movements. In our music piece, we include certain chords progression. Chords progression includes F minor 7, B flat 7, A minor 7, A flat 7, G minor 7, C7, F major 7, G7 flat 9, C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7. Now E flat major 7 with sharp 11th, E flat, E minor 7 flat 5, A7 flat 9th, and D minor 7 with G7. So this is our chords progression for today. Turns out we have to take care of the prep work. The prep work includes have a vision, key signature in mind, the tempo signature, style of music, feel of horns in use, of course chords progression, and awareness towards passing tones in your music composition. Prep work gives us this comfortable direction. Each measure includes 4 quarter notes per measure. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we change for another chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there's another change, another change, another change. So with every single bar, we also introduce a new chord. The horn section follows that chord's progression and responds accordingly. When I play my horns, I'm leaning towards chord tones. I'm using passing tones to get there. Passing tone sits between chord tones. What major chord tones in music are 1, 3, 5, and 7. So I constantly lead towards these resolutions, and I'm using passing tones to get there. Let's take a listen. So this is the horn section, what we have so far, and our music example includes piano comp, underneath acoustic piano comp, acoustic bass, and also the drum set. Let's take a listen. The easiest way to write horns is through unison. Unison, they will share okay, so they will share the same note. All of them, 4 guys. Number 1, the range of the instrument. When you look at this VST plugin, there is some piano under the horn section. The range in blue represents the horn section built from the trombone, the tenor saxophone, and 2 trumpets. Right now, we've got 4 horns included in that blue presentation. So it's quite inaccurate, because the trombone is going to have a different range, tenor saxophone different range, trombone, trumpet the same thing, which means I cannot go that low on the trumpet and I cannot go that high on the trombone. Okay? So this is like a general idea of the horn section, and this is the basic kind of look what we could start using today without any judgment. Once you get familiar with that VST plugin called horn section, now we could copy and paste the same material into individual horns, and then kind of learn about the real range of each instrument. So this is number 1. Number 2, there's something called a sweet spot. Every single instrument is gonna have this sweet spot. As a former French horn player, I'm thinking a range of motion what feels for me extremely comfortable. I can go beyond that comfortable, going down and going up, no problem. But when you write music, you have to be aware of it, right? That the musician is gonna sit in that spot and feel really good into any music you write for that instrument. So the first major adjustment to your writing for horns could be writing it in octaves. Why is that? The fake range of motion towards that horn section, okay, goes from here to here. Everything. But I cannot write for trombone in this area. I cannot write here for the trumpet. So what do? You start using that melody in octaves. This is unison, this is octaves. And all of a sudden, this range, it's very comfortable for the trombone player. This is very comfortable for the trumpet. Tenor, saxophone, the same thing, very comfortable. Okay, so we could start developing our horn section that way as a basic idea of expansion. If this doesn't work, you can create a spread even bigger, exactly, by introducing 2 octaves. If you have a baritone saxophone, oh my goodness, it's gonna work perfectly. The other way as well. If you really want that horn to shine, you can introduce this, but leaving the trombone and tenor saxophone 2 octaves below. I don't know if you noticed, but these two, they make a much stronger statement than this. Like you kind of present it in a way that it's more stronger. It's like on your face. Pay attention to me. That's the kind of idea. So you could start spicing things up by doing this. And we already did that. This section, it's in unison. Okay? Another section includes something we called crossovers. What crossovers use, they start using at different intervals. So I kind of move the topics around and created different relationships between them. Let's take a listen, first half and second half again. And now intervals. So it's a mixture of different techniques. One of them is the unison is gone. They play in octaves, and all of a sudden, okay, so this section uses the intervals, and this section uses the intervals as well. Okay, so the intervals are based on chords progression. If I have F major 7 in mind, and the melody kind of sits on top of C, I can bring, like another chord tones and make it stronger. Like this is 7 of F major 7, and this is 5. Or I can bring some tension, like tension 9th, and get the different impact on the music. So what do? You just measure it by using your desires, your technique, awareness towards the music theory, and also ear training. Okay? Unisons. in octaves. And all of a sudden, voila, we've got something interesting in mind, okay? So this is the basic idea how to use horns in music. Now, depending what kind of style of music you use, you're going to treat them differently, but they all share the same idea. They exist on top of the chords and chord progression. They are leaning towards chord tones through passing notes. We went for a journey with this tune. It didn't happen right away. We made a tremendous amount of mistakes before we achieved that. But since we followed the specific desires and the guidance, we achieved that result. Like any music, you start messy and then you start cleaning the messiness. If you stick around, we are going to show you how we make this video. In this second chapter of this video, we are going to show you exactly how we did that and why we did certain things, including the time changes. We can always create voicing of the horn section based on intuition and ear training, but the true knowledge may help you overcome the moments of confusion and frustration. When our knowledge towards chords and passing notes in that specific scale is limited, we can always depend on our ear training. So we slowly develop the phrase by using our ear and the sense of the direction. Okay, we are extremely passionate about horn section, a string quartet, a rhythm section, so we will definitely revisit these subjects because we can't wait to share the insight with all of you. Until then, my name is Piotr Kowalczyk. I will see you next time.